Hello, children. I am, where are you? There you are. My new place that I'm moving into has a shed that I can use as an office. Let me zip up here. There we go. A shed I can use as an office. It's cold in here, so I'm insulating it. I'll show you the upstairs. So I'm back in the Springs for a few days, insulating this shed. I did the upstairs, as you can see. It's all insulated up there, and these walls are not insulated, and that's where I'm starting to insulate, right there. And so I used Great Stuff spray foam around the edges of the door, around the edges of the windows, and around the baseboard down there. I used caulking. And so I used this stuff right here to go along the baseboard. So this will be informational. Maybe you'll learn something. Okay, very important to know, when you insulate anything, before you put this stuff up, which is the poofy stuff that goes here, that keeps like a little blanket for the walls, before you put that up, you want to seal. Very important, you always seal before you insulate. You use caulking or Great Stuff. I'll show you what that is. This is caulking right here, and any gaps between the wood and the floor or around a door, around a window, you use this. If the gap is more than 1/4 of an inch, you typically use this. And you spray it, it goes, and then it goes in there, and then it expands, and it looks kind of like that. Actually, let's go this way. It looks kind of like that stuff right there. It's kind of a, it's kind of a, you can hear it. You can smush it. It's like foam, you know. You smush it. And then the caulking looks kind of like, you can't really see it in there, can you? It's that little, right there, that little white bead. It's not a bead like a bead you wear, but like a line. That's the caulking. And on the floor even, down here, right here where the wood meets the concrete is just a thin line, because air can come in there, and you don't want air to come in there. After you do that, you use this stuff, you put it in here, and then you take your, where is it? I don't know where it went to. You take this thing, it's a little staple gun, it looks like this. And you literally, I don't know if you can see down here, but like here, you just do like that. You go down, and then that's what you do. These leftover bits of insulation are too wide for the hole, obviously. And so what you do is you put it here and see how tall it's going to be. And then down here, where you need to cut it, it's too tall and too wide, but so you kind of about right there, and let's say make a little tear. So we'll cut that off first. You cut it with this. It's basically a bread knife. You can buy it at Home Depot, or you can use a bread knife. Go to this side. There we go. So that makes it tall enough, or the right height for this. But now, right, that's tall enough, but it's too wide. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go, you can see this piece of wood? It's going to hang over about halfway, right there in the middle. So this piece of wood, there's actually 2 pieces of wood right here, but I'm going to cut it to where it's going to be hanging over roughly halfway, and do the same thing and cut it. Where'd it go? There you go. right there. All right, I cut that. It's wide enough. Important, you don't want to just smush it in there, but you want to kind of gently push it in there because you want the insulation to get squished in there and then you want it to poof back out to its full thickness. Very important, right? So this guy and we'll just kind of, the other day I smushed this finger, not hard, but hard enough to where it had a little bleeding underneath the nail because I got too close and I smushed it. It really hurt. So just there we go. I'm sure a professional insulator will have all kinds of things to say about how I might be doing it wrong. But when I started, it would take me an hour to heat this shed up to about 65 degrees, and now it takes about 15-20 minutes. So it's a blanket for the shed. And there we go. Yeah, this side's a little loosey-goosey. Right there and there. Looks fantastic. Because I'm not a pro, not every single staple goes in perfectly, so I just go through and find the ones that are sticking up a little bit and just kind of just make sure everything's nice and seated. Welcome to Home Improvement Network with your dad. Yeah, that's it. So I'll go through and probably finish out this wall today. And I have probably 2 more loads to bring over from the apartment. The house is that way that I'm renting. And when I'm there, I live there, I worked out a deal. When I'm not there, if I'm traveling for work, it's going to get rented out on Airbnb. So I'm going to work that out and we'll see how it goes. So, but I'm here this week for a few more days. Then I'll be back out. And then, of course, I'll be back in town in February when you guys are here. All right. I suppose you'll want to look at the house. I don't have it all ready yet, but the room that you will sleep in when you get here is ready. It's I'll show you the bed. There's 2 beds, kind of. I'll show you. Okay, this is where I am. This is the inside of the house. Interesting side note, Eric. This house is actually 1 or 2 blocks down the road from where you were born. As you can see, it's my furniture. I bought that table from Jesse Gingrich. My couch, the rug, my paintings, my Winston Churchill. That same corner at the apartment, there's my chess table. My room's in there, and there's a second bedroom here. It's a little bit disheveled. It's the second bedroom. And so there's a kid bed. It's a little disheveled because I slept on top of that bed last night because I was working here. And then under here is a second bed. It pulls all the way out. And so it pulls all the way out to the wall here. Here's the bathroom and a bathtub and a shower, like all normal bathrooms. So that's it. There's a closet. Yeah, that's it. It's one of my books I got from Bookmongering. And over here is I've had nosebleeds every day, it seems like, for the past month. So if I get up in the morning and can have a coffee, I can sit here and I basically breathe steam. This is a new book I got. It's called Enslaved by Ducks. That's it. there's a swing out there, and a little, oh, there's a car going by. There's my little hummingbird feeder. And so when I'm traveling, this will be, the deal I have worked out is this will be an Airbnb. So hopefully my stuff stays intact. And then when I'm home, I can live here a little cheaper than if it were full time. So since you guys are in Florida for the year, I'm going to try to work as much as I can, maybe build up some savings. And so serendipitously, this place worked out quite nice. I like Old Colorado City, and so I'm back in Old Colorado City. So a little more than I would normally be able to afford. But between me and Airbnb stuff, I think it'll work out well for everybody. And so the shed is also going to be, I'm going to make it into a little office for me, and maybe, especially during the summer months, because they'll want to probably Airbnb this out more during the summer. I'm assuming that's when they make their money. I will potentially stay and turn the property, and then turn my little building out there into a little man cave / cottage / whatever. The man cave is mine, meaning I'm gonna buy that, and then the house is just not. The man cave is mine, and maybe someday I can move it onto a piece of dirt somewhere. That'll be great. So nonetheless, you have a place when you come here to hang out, and that's all I have for now. Children, I haven't been making too many videos this week because I've been moving all week and I'm tired. But since I am done for the day, I'm all showered up and clean, I'll give you a little chess lesson. All right, I'm only going to show you the white side because this is the lesson. You see all these squares, right? You've got, let's clear these out of the way so you can kind of see. The exact center of the board are these 4 squares right there. Those 4 squares are the most important squares in the board because they're the exact center, and you get the most options if you get pieces either in those squares, or in the case of a bishop, right there, pointing at those squares, or a castle pointing at those squares. So when you begin your game, you want to push everything forward and in toward the middle, just like that. Look like Mike McDivitt there. He's a lawyer here in town that chases ambulances, and this is how he does his commercial. Your opening is done when you get your king to safety, and you do that by castling. Castling is moving the king 1, 2 squares to the right or the left. So you can, if the queen wasn't here, you could do this, and you do it in one move. 1, 2, and move him right there. That's one whole move right there. You can also castle on the other side like this. 1, 2, and grabbing him to right there. That's also one move. Normally you castle on the king side. That's the normal side to castle on. And the king side just simply means like this side is the king side, and then this side is the queen side. So move the queen up there. You can castle 1, 2, and that gets your king to safety. Basically, it puts your king behind a wall of these 3 pawns and puts your castle right here. So he's in a little fortress, a little square fortress. And so that's the opening of chess. I'll do it one more time. Let's put there, da, 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 bishop, bishop. There are lots of different openings. This is a basic opening, and it's the one I know best. It's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and castle. Once the king is castled, you go into what's called the middle game. All right, that's all I have for now. Tomorrow is Sunday, and I will put all the videos together. No, I'm not going to tell you to like and subscribe without looking at you. Hi, I'm Mike McDivitt. Have you been in a car accident? That's how he does. I was looking over there, but you're not there. You're there. Like, subscribe. If you like and subscribe and ding the bell and make a comment, perhaps next time I will read a little bit from Enslaved by Ducks. This is, according to Entertainment Weekly, hilarious. You may never look at Fido the same way. What a weird comment. A Laugh Out Loud Chronicle says Mary Becker DVM. I don't even know what that means. Good Morning America. For anyone who's ever opened heart and home to an animal. I have all kinds of thoughts there. The Dallas Morning News. It's by Bob Tarte, or Tarta, or Tarte, but it's Bob. A beautiful, honest, hilarious, and touching book about the subtle and blatant ways animal companions take over our lives. Somebody needs boundaries. It's impossible to read Enslaved by Ducks and not fall just a little bit in love with Bob Tarte. I think Bob wrote that. His charming, heroic wife, no, she's not, Linda, and their menagerie. Jana Murphy, author of The Secret Lives of Dogs. Dogs don't have secret lives. Dogs are transparent. They live right out in the open. All of us who feel a deep emotional connection with animals will respond to this book, as Bob Tarte realizes there's no drug or therapy as effective as an animal who loves you. They don't love you. They do it for the food. Except for dogs, maybe. Actually, I don't know. I'm kind of down on dogs lately. When Bob Tarte bought a horse in rural Michigan, rural means they ain't got no neighbors, he was counting on a tranquil haven. Then Bob married Linda. There's where the problem started. Linda. Listen, Linda. She wanted a rabbit, which seemed, at the time, innocuous enough. But that was just the beginning. Wouldn't a parrot be cute? Linda's a hoarder. I think we can see where this is going. We see the writing on the wall. Linda said that Bob suddenly found himself constructing pens, buying feed. Bob had a peaceful life before this Linda chick came along. Clearing duck waste. Waste is a fancy word for poop. Spoon feeding at mealtime. What animal are they spoon feeding? One day he realized he'd become a servant to a relentlessly demanding family, and a motley crew it was. Bob's going to die an early death, I can tell you. Writing as someone who's been ambushed by the way in which animals, even cranky ones, can weed their way into the heart, Bob reveals the truth of animal ownership and who really owns whom. The question is, do the animals poop in the house? Bob has written for the New York Times. That used to mean something. The Beat. He needed some space to fill. The Boston Globe, still unimpressive. The Whole Earth Review, and the Miami New Times. He lives in Lowell, Michigan with his wife. We already know that's Linda. And more animals than we can list here. See Bob's animals at, oh, get this. I'll get you a web address. You ready? Write this down. www.enslavedbyducks.com. And I know what you're going to think, because you're in public school, you need to know how enslaved is spelled. Enslaved by ducks. Enslavedbyducks.com. You can go there right now and look at his animals. This is by Algonquin Books of Chapel Hill, a division of Workman Publishing, New York, blah, 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 blah. That's it. That's the book. This is an ode to marriage in the United States. How one man went from the head of the household to the bottom of the pecking order. In your spare time, you can look up a phrase called henpecked. All right, well, that's all I've got for today. Like, subscribe. Maybe next time. Ron Burgundy, let me off at the top. My classy life and other musings. It says here, he wrote a hell of a book. So there's that. Comment, ask me questions. I'll do my best to answer those questions. I'll be glad when this move is over. I've got 2 more loads, and I will talk to you guys soon. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.